Day 0. I've gone through all the security procedures, and I have finally arrived in my room, in what feels like a hotel-themed section within the construct. I was surprised to find colored lights and artwork covering the walls of the corridors, no doubt from the civilians in this military facility. It wasn't enough to hide how run down this whole place is, though. Still, after a decade of secrecy, I'm glad to finally be allowed to learn more about what really goes on in this place. I've heard some rumors of revolutionary technologies, but I'd rather keep my enthusiasm to a minimum for now.
My new position at the construct was an opportunity for me to stand out in a way that I've always felt I deserved. Even though I was still in a low-level role, I was determined to make it grow into something meaningful. The research labs were a much stricter environment than my previous work. The hours were longer, and the tasks were incredibly complex. More than once I felt inept compared to my coworkers, but I was also determined not to let this opportunity go to waste, whatever it took. Kenna was very supportive at first, even as my work kept me away from home for much longer. I felt so much happier than I had in a long time now that I finally had a chance to get where I always wanted to go. But he never quite seemed to understand why this work meant so much to me. As time went on, I became neglectful of my home life, letting work take more of my time, and Kenna and I just drifted apart. I'll spare you the details of our crumbling relationship. Suffice to say, once we realized how things had changed, we were forced to cancel the adoption process. It was especially difficult on Kenna, and when he proposed that we separate for a time, I didn't really fight to keep him. By that time, I had all but moved into the construct, and when the divorce papers came in, there was no reason to let things linger any longer. I guess Aether managed to vanish my relationship as well. From there on, without anything left holding me back, I just buried myself into my work with renewed passion. I no longer had to feel guilty about being selfish with my time and focusing on my work. All my life, I had looked at the people around me, content in their relationships and family, and I thought that's what I wanted too. But it was now clear to me that I needed something different. It's just unfortunate that it came at the cost of hurting Kenna.
us save our family.
I saw him once, several years later, at the market with another man and a kid. He never saw me, and I didn't try to get in touch with him. But he looked happy, and I envied him. Not because I wanted what he had, but because I was still struggling with my goals, whereas he got exactly what he desired. Or at least that's what I imagined. But then we always see what we want to see out of others, especially when we're dissatisfied with our lot in life. I was never destined to become a family man, and instead professional accomplishment seemed poised to be my goal in life. So, I accepted that my scientific contributions would be my legacy. I was hoping that my actions could bring some good to the entire population. And actually, this brings me to an important question that I have for you. Try to find a polling booth if you can.
End of the first day, and I can't deny that I've been left very impressed by the bevy of technological advancements we were shown. Of particular note was the Aether Cube, a sort of self-contained power source that they claim is capable of powering a small city. Although the scientists have assured me that it's perfectly safe, I still have many concerns about keeping that much energy in such a small container. I might not know what Aether is precisely, but I can't imagine that amount of power within such a small container to be safe.
I sometimes look back upon my life choices and wonder, is happiness or usefulness a more important purpose in life? What do you think? Happiness on the left, usefulness on the right. We will never exist as anyone else but ourselves. We can choose to make others happy, to help the world, or to help ourselves. Perhaps one shouldn't be valued above the other. Happiness and usefulness can go hand in hand. But then, that's too easy an answer. After all, when do we have the luxury of having everything? I don't know that Aether ever made me happy in the traditional sense, but I did feel that my life improved from there on out. At least, I felt like I was doing the right thing, and every time my efforts yielded results, I felt such a surge of pride. Some might argue that cutting myself off from Kena was a bad choice, but I still wonder if perhaps I